An astounding 1 billion rands worth of dope vanished in a drug deal gone horribly wrong off the coast of Simonstown. The Bulgarian mafia and a violent Colombian cartel were unwilling to take the loss. Both were ready to escalate the situation to the next level, and the man at the center of this chaos was a 28 gang leader suspected by the cartel of double-crossing them. And what followed next was a deadly game of revenge. Shootings and kidnappings erupted in the aftermath of the missing shipment, with tensions escalating to deadly levels. Now in this video, we'll explore the rising influence of international drug cartels in South Africa and the kidnapping of the 28 gang leader by the Colombians. South Africa has become a key player in the global dope trade, with a growing domestic market and ties reaching Europe, Hong Kong and Australia. The dope flows in from South America, Brazil to be specific, packed in shipping containers and moves through the country before reaching other destinations. Now South Africa's corrupt police force, world-class transport infrastructure and a lack of resources to control the dope trade makes it a perfect gateway. With the highest rate of dope consumption in Africa, the stage is set for a battle between international, regional and local crime syndicates. In 2021, a major blow was struck when 3 Bulgarian men were sentenced to 60 years in prison after almost 1,000 bricks of dope worth $500 million rands was discovered hidden in the hull of a fishing vessel docked at Saldanha Bay harbor. Now the bust, one of the largest in South African history, came from a tip-off, but it only revealed the tip of the iceberg. The Bulgarians, along with Serbian gangsters and other international crime networks, have entrenched themselves in the country, but after the Saldanha Bay bust, it became clear they needed another strategy. They turned to local gangs, letting them handle the risky work while they orchestrated operations from the shadows.
Several police teams raided the foreign fishing vessel late last night. Drugs totaling 583 million rand were found hidden in compartments.
An intelligence-driven multidisciplinary operation has discovered off the Saldanha coast 973 blocks of cocaine stashed in compartments of a fishing vessel on Monday evening.
It all began when the Bulgarians struck a deal for a massive dope shipment with the Colombians, relying on the terrible Josta's gang leader as their key middleman. Now Peter Jaggers, a trusted figure in the underworld, was given the critical task of overseeing the operation. The plan was simple but risky. The shipment will be smuggled from South America on a cargo vessel and dropped at a discreet location with a GPS tracking device off Simonstown, far from the prying eyes of the harbor. Peter assembled a crew of 6 men and prepared a fishing boat equipped with a hidden compartment designed to stash the dope. Now under the cover of the night, they set off navigating the dark waters to retrieve the shipment. But according to the official report, things took a turn for the worse. The boat ran out of fuel while they were still at sea. With bad weather rolling in, the situation quickly spiraled out of control. Now stranded and vulnerable, the crew had no choice but to call for emergency services. They were rescued, but the dope, worth millions, was lost in the ocean, or so it seemed. In the shadowy streets of the underworld, rumors began to make rounds. Some whispered that there had been a second boat involved, a backup plan shrouded in secrecy. Now others suspected that the first boat running out of fuel wasn't an accident at all. It was part of a larger, more sinister scheme. Now had the gang sold off the dope and distanced themselves from the whole deal? Was Peter playing a double game? No one knows for sure. The truth remains buried beneath layers of suspicion and deceit. Peter informed both the Colombians and the Bulgarians that the vessel had sunk and the entire shipment of dope was lost at sea. Now the cartels were furious, demanding answers. Now in a rush to salvage the situation, they summoned Peter and his right-hand man to Gauteng for an emergency meeting to explain the disaster. According to an intelligence report obtained by News 24, Peter and his right-hand man and a third individual arrived at OR Tambo International Airport around 11 p.m. that night. From there, they were swiftly escorted to Emperor's Palace, where they checked into a luxurious hotel. But the calm before the storm didn't last long. Just hours after settling in, Peter and his guy left the hotel for a meeting with the Bulgarians and the Colombians. And that was the last time anyone saw them. The mystery only deepened from there. The intelligence report suggested that the third individual, someone known to News 24, had introduced Peter to the Bulgarian mafia, and that individual is now in hiding and was rumored to be involved in the deal's collapse. Now, that person's wife and child were allegedly kidnapped, though these reports remain unconfirmed. Now, 5 days after Peter's disappearance, his wife filed a missing persons report with the police. Now, in her statement, she revealed that she hadn't heard from her husband since June the 30th of 2024. He had left their home at 5 p.m. that day, bound for Cape Town International Airport, where he caught a flight toward Tambo. Now, according to her, Peter was picked up by foreign men from Bulgaria and Serbia, and he never returned home.
What do you make of the apparent disappearance, the apparent kidnapping of Peter Jaggers, an alleged gang boss here in Cape Town? Apparently, according to his family, last meeting with international cartel members in Gauteng, and he has not been seen since. What do you make of this particular story?
Well, I consider it within the realm of, I don't know the facts much, but that is normal modus operandi. You don't, and it doesn't matter whether it's a Colombian cartel or a local gang. If you know the old history of the Cape gangsters, guys make a drug deal, sell a sauti komi boere, and then the guys will set you up, run away with the money and the deal. But anyway, earlier, Rashid Staghi modus operandi was, for example, a similar thing. So these kind of, if the allegations are true, the knocks of drug dealers knocking each other, these things are quite, it has always been the feature of the drug trade. I think we are just a bit surprised now with the fact that people are doing it against the Colombians. But a Cape gangster is a Cape gangster.
Then 2 chilling WhatsApp voice notes surfaced, allegedly from the Colombians, confirming the darkest fears. The recordings revealed what everyone had dreaded. Peter had been kidnapped and was en route to South America. His release, the cartel made it clear, dependent on the return of the missing shipment or a ransom of 50 million rands. Now, as the days passed, the violence escalated. Gunfire erupted at the home of one of Peter's lieutenants in Gales River. Though no one was hurt, the message was unmistakably clear. This was only the beginning. One of the voice notes sent directly to Peter's wife was especially chilling. It said, "We are not playing. You have 24 hours to bring the money or return the stuff, or we will come after your families." Now, the threat was suffocating, and with each passing day, the danger grew. Now, screenshots of frantic negotiations between Peter's people and the cartel exposed the depth of the crisis. Now, his family pleaded desperately for alternatives, offering whatever they could do to de-escalate the situation. But the cartel's response was merciless. "We don't get our stuff, we bomb your house." There was no room for compromise, only a deadly game with the rules written by the cartel, where one wrong move could lead to a violent end. The clock was ticking, and Peter's fate, along with that of his family, hung by a thread. This kidnapping is part of a growing and dangerous trend. International crime syndicates, including the powerful South American cartels, are increasingly targeting local gangs in their bid to control the drug routes through South Africa's ports. The stakes are high, and if cartels like the Colombians are using South Africa, particularly the Western Cape, as their hub to distribute their dope, it signals an alarming surge of drugs flooding the country. The increased availability of dope could escalate gang wars among local gangs already battling for control of the dope trade. Now, the potential of heightened violence and drug abuse is a major concern directly impacting the communities we live in. The Hawks confirmed they have been pulled into the high-stakes investigation of Peter's abduction. Now, the case has shifted to the OR Tambo International Airport SAPS and is now in the hands of the Johannesburg-based Hawks, South Africa's Narcotics Bureau. Now, with each passing day, the pressure intensifies. Whether Peter will be found is uncertain, and the odds grow more dangerous by the day. Now, in the ruthless world of drug cartels and organized crime, disappearance like this rarely end well. Now, the Colombians' demands are simple: return the missing dope shipment or pay the 50 million rands or face deadly consequences, and the clock has been ticking. Four months after the kidnapping, news broke 2 bodies had been found in the Klip River near Oranieville in the Free State. Just after 2 p.m. on the 11th of October 2024, a passerby spotted the first body near a bridge. When the police diving unit arrived, they discovered the second one only a meter away. By the 16th of October, police confirmed the victims were Peter and his accomplice. Their families made the grim identification, and for some, the news wasn't a shock. The Colombians had promised retaliation. It was only a matter of time. Now, Peter's death doesn't slow down the game of dope dealing for the terrible Josters. It simply opened the door for the next ambitious contender ready to take his place in the violent world of dope dealing in the Western Cape.